To determine the vertical asymptotes of a function with a denominator, we set the denominator equal to 0 and factor it. The vertical asymptote occurs for x that would make the denominator equal to 0. So how do we find that? To find that, you want to set the denominator equal to 0 and factor it in order to determine the solutions for x. So factoring this, if you want a review on factoring, take a look at some of the older videos. Factoring this, we need to find the two numbers that multiply to 24 and add to 11. So that would be 8 and 3. And we split the middle term into that. And common factor. Which will give us our binomials, or our quadratic in factored form. So we can determine x equals negative 3 over 2 and negative 4. Therefore, we have two vertical asymptotes at these points. We have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 3 over 2 and negative 4. The horizontal asymptote is determined with the ratio of the coefficients of x on the top and the bottom. So I'll show you what that means. So the ratio of the coefficients of the highest degree of x. So the highest degree of x on the bottom is x squared, and the coefficient on that highest degree is 2. In the top, we don't have an x, but we would if we put an imaginary 0x. That would be the highest degree of x on top, and the coefficient on that is 0. So dividing these gives us the ratio of the coefficients, so 0 over 2, which is just 0. Therefore, we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Remember, horizontal asymptotes occur for y. And then from that, we can state the domain and range. So the range is pretty straightforward for this one. It's basically y is all real numbers, except y cannot equal 0, because that's what the horizontal asymptote is. Y cannot exist at 0, but everywhere else. And the domain is based on the 2 points. For the domain, x is all real numbers. And if you just imagine some number line, we have negative 4 and we have negative 3 over 2. And basically x can exist on either sides of these two, negative infinity and positive infinity. The easiest way to do this would just be, say, x is not equal to negative 4 or negative 3 over 2.